Libs beat man to bloody pulp outside Trump's Oz rally, horrified when they learn who he is. The tolerant left was at it again this past weekend when the out-left converged on Boston for a violent peace rally. The group went to Boston to protest a small gathering of about 100 people at a free speech rally. These members of Antifa descended onto the rally in search of neo-Nazis needing a good beatdown. Of course, no neo-Nazis were to be found, but that did not stop them from beating one man to a bloody pulp, and when these radical leftists discovered who it was they were stunned. These destructive millennials in their own minds are combating fascism by being fascists. The members of Antifa march the streets of America ready to pounce on anyone with a dissenting point of view in the name of fighting supposed racism, nationalism, and all things American including the Constitution. The liberal media has even hitched their wagon to them and even went as far as to compare them to the brave men that stormed the beaches of Normandy. So, on Saturday these brave men and women gathered in Boston to protest free speech because apparently that's fascist, and immediately things turned sour. The black-clad Antifas quickly stood out when they began to taunt police officers, assaulted and harassed rally attendees all in the name of stamping out fascism. The Boston Police Department reported that these peaceful individuals were throwing rocks, urine, and bottles at those in attendance. However, that was not the only person that was injured by these brutal individuals. During the rally, they spotted what they thought was another neo-Nazi in attendance. So, they did the only logical thing, they punched his lights out, but then they discovered that this neo-Nazi was actually a member of Antifa. You just can't make this stuff up, can you? Here is more from Daily Wire. On Saturday, some of the brilliant folks comprising the hard leftist group Antifa accidentally beat the hell out of a fellow Antifa protester whom the morons mistook for a neo-Nazi, which basically means anyone right-wing or classically liberal. No one has ever accused Antifa of being particularly bright. The leftist group was out in full force to protest a free speech rally in Boston, which reportedly had a grand total of 0 neo-Nazis, though there were some members of the so-called alt-right in attendance. This anti-white nationalist protester was punched in the face after being mistaken for a neo-Nazi in Boston, reads a Facebook post from Fusion. Do not hit someone that you assume is a neo-Nazi. You cannot do that, said one protester. He's on our side. That's right, you must first be sure you don't like their ideology and then you can punch them because of screwed dialogue and the First Amendment altogether. When a reporter asked the man who was assaulted and now bleeding from his head and mouth if he planned on sticking around the fine folks at the rally, he replied, "I'm not exactly sure right now." Apparently getting assaulted by the people you thought were helping you protest neo-Nazis isn't reason enough to reject Antifa and leave the rally. Interesting. This group is incredibly dangerous and should be labeled as a domestic terrorist group and quick. While many on the right have called their savage actions out, they still continue with their reign of terror in the country. President Trump, even in his rally last night in Phoenix, Arizona, spoke out against their violence that brought cheers from the crowd. According to Breitbart, President Donald Trump called out the violent leftist group Antifa during a rally with supporters in Arizona on Tuesday. You know, they show up in the helmets and the black masks and they've got clubs, they've got everything, he said, calling out their name, Antifa. Trump made his remarks after a protester tried to interrupt his rally. He remarked that the crowds of protesters were small, suggesting that the heat probably kept them from coming out. All week they're talking about the massive crowds that are going to be outside, Trump said. Where are they? Where are they? Well, it's hot out, he said. Trump spent about 20 minutes relitigating the establishment media's Charlottesville coverage, pointing out that he condemned hate, violence, the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists, but that it was never enough for the dishonest media. At the moment things look incredibly bleak, but that will change since we have a strong leader in office. It will take some time, but law and order will be restored again in America thanks to people who stand against evil. Hopefully, this member of Antifa will do some soul-searching and realize that who he is fighting against is really not the enemy at all, and join in the fight for freedom. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.